Phonopath is a game I made a few years back. I released it January 6th, 2012. And you know what I might even do? I'm going to play this to start the stream because that kind of makes the most sense.
My name is Kevin Regamey, and this is the crash course video for my IGF submission, Phonopath. Phonopath is a puzzler based entirely in audio files. Each of the game's 28 stages is comprised of a sound clip and password request. Players must uncover each password through critical listening, careful analysis, audio manipulation, music theory, cryptography, etc. Phonopath is free to play online, and each level's sound clip streams in-browser. The audio file, once downloaded, is the actual puzzle, and the gameplay, so to speak, then resides in whatever audio or otherwise software you might prefer. That said, the game is generally best enjoyed if you yourself already have a background in audio. For an idea of the puzzles themselves, some require a simple process to solve, like reversal or pitch shifting. Others may delve into mechanics like phase cancellation or hex editing. One of my favorites presents a jigsaw puzzle in the sound spectrogram, requiring players to cut and then overlay the sound to assemble the puzzle. So that's the gist. If you'd like to see more of the game without first taking a course in audio engineering, you can use the demo login information in the video description below.
It's gonna be me beating the game, but with free tools. So I'm not gonna be using any like Pro Tools or like professional tools, as in professional software, or like the program Pro Tools, or Isotope RX, or SoundForge, or anything like that that an audio professional might have in their arsenal already due to working in the industry. I'll be using like Audacity only for the most part, and like a free hex editor and a free slow scan television utility. So it's interesting because it's a bit more cumbersome in some cases. Like Isotope can kill some of these puzzles, like just solved, done, and Audacity takes a bit more work because it doesn't have the same kind of functionality in some cases. But for the most part, it will work pretty well, I think. I ran through all of it yesterday, and I was like, this should all work pretty well. Hello, player. First level opens up, so you can see these are all the 5 phases in the game, and I can't click anything except for the first one. So hello, player. We'll jump in, and so you need a hint there. We'll play this. I've already downloaded all
Hello,
these, no worries.
player. Allow me to welcome you to this, the first stage of your journey in sound. A password lies hidden from view here and in each stage to follow. Listen closely, examine the clues, expand your mind, and only then may you discover it. Only then may you advance. Your first password is...
So you can hear it kind of fade out at the end, right?
Your first password is...
Kind of was your first password. Backs off. So this bit at the very end here is super quiet. It's there. Like if we zoom in, with Control Shift F, I'm learning Audacity hotkeys. I've never used this program before. Okay, so if I zoom in like this, you can see there is information in there. It's like super, super quiet though, right? Like this is so quiet. So if I get back out here again, Control E, no, Control Shift F, Control F. I don't know what's happening right now. Control, oh, and it's Shift right click. There we go. So we'll go amplify. It's like 80 dB or something. I'll just go like 75 dB. Okay.
Choke.
So it's choke, it says there.
Choke.
Okay. We can make it a bit louder if we want. We'll go like, I don't know, 15 more dB.
Choke.
Choke. And with this one, I actually had to make sure that the original file I used was super compressed, because if anything's quiet, when you make it really quiet, the quieter parts of that sound you're making quieter, of the whole sound as a whole, will end up like dropping into silence basically. So it's like zooming in on a photograph of like a poor quality photograph. If you zoom in, it's not going to hold all the detail, right? You'll have that kind of blurry. You'll just see a more detailed version of the blurry file, or blurry picture. So there you go. Choke.
Choke.
So next file is Must Go Faster. We'll play it.
Come on. Where is it?
Let's go, David. Speed it up.
I'm almost there. Got it. Shit.
Go again. Time to go.
Yeah, I didn't get tagged. I'm fine.
Good. Head to the extraction point. We'll see you shortly.
Nice work in there. All right, so I just there's two things in this file for hints. I mean, it says speed it up. Come on, John, speed it up, where it is. And then also you can hear the robot, whatever it is, voice in the background saying sector C0 to C4. So if you think of that in octaves, like C on a keyboard, C0 and C4 is 4 octaves difference, and that's how much you need to pitch it up by. You don't need to know that. You can just pitch it up until you can tell what he says. But in this case, I did 4 octaves, and it sounds like this.
Landmark.
Next one, Doom Cat. So here we go. We'll play this one. You can hear kind of later in the file. I'll play it in Audacity. Okay, your password is, and it gets covered up, right? You can't hear it. It's called masking. Basically, louder things covering up quieter things in the same region of the frequencies. Your password is. So you can't really just high pass it. You can't just filter it out. This is actually a puzzle in phase cancellation. So if I zoom in super close, I'll do one of these again, and I'll zoom in. You can see this actually has like vertical symmetry, and that means that the left channel is the negative version of the right channel, or vice versa. So if you think of like a positive sine wave and a negative sine wave, those two things added together, they just equal silence, right? And that rule holds true for more complex waves too, because as far as your computer is concerned, these are all just like every single point in time. All these little points here are just a number, and this is a positive number and a negative number. So as far as that's concerned, if I add them together, it'll be 0. And the only difference is the thing over here. So that's the one thing that'll shine through. So if I go over here and just split this to stereo, split stereo to mono, now I have 2 mono tracks that are not playing left and right anymore. They're playing right in the center, and it sounds like this instead. It's playing. It's just canceling to 0, and you'll hear it now.
Your password is amnesia.
So your password is amnesia. Okay, so this is the next level. I'll play it here.
Oh, how cute!
Oh, sorry. So more access. Why wouldn't a high pass work? Because the problem is it's not about hearing frequencies above a certain point. It's about hearing frequencies behind something, and you can't just get rid of frequencies because the ones that you want are also part of what you're getting rid of. In this case, you just silence things that are around it, and you reveal what's behind it. We use high passes later on, but this doesn't work there. So here you go. Carrying on.
Thank you! A new dress! Yeah, right here. I can't wait to see how it fits! Wait here, okay? I'll be right back.
So I'm going to go into this one now. This file name's kind of crazy. If you can see it in the top corner, it's like XI79D0P6L exclamation point X. That's kind of to imply that there is indeed rotational symmetry in this file. It's actually an audio palindrome. So if I reverse this whole thing right now, so I'll reverse it. So it sounds the exact same front to back. It's called an audio palindrome, like the word radar, right? Like R-A-D-A-R. So the file name helps to show that, but it's not just it's a palindrome. The backwards version is actually inverted as well. So if I zoom in super close, and I'm going to go to the front here, I think J? Yeah, so I'll zoom in super close. I'll zoom in here as well so you can see. And this is going to be kind of silly, but it'll work. So I'll zoom in like here so you can see what's happening in these waves, okay? If I reverse it, you can see it actually flips. I'm not inverting it, I'm reversing the file. So the reverse version is actually inverted. So that's kind of a clue. You want to basically, there we go. You'll want to make this track again. Basically, I'm gonna add a track. It's kind of a more, it's an elaboration upon that Doomcat level, basically. So I'll make a new stereo track, and I copy this, I'm gonna put it here, and I gotta move it to the front actually. There, that works, I hope. And then if we play from the beginning, oh, it's no good. I gotta reverse this one though. Reverse this one. Reverse. Okay, now it'll work.
Cute! Ew! Yeah. I see. Yeah. Okay. Wait.
So it's more complex than Doomcat because it's not like this is just like X and negative X and then like a Y also, the Y being the whisper. Now it's like all these separate elements, and I took all the elements, reversed them all separately, and then I inverted some of them and maintained some things that they'd come through. Like the tuba, for example, I put there and made sure it came through, so you knew instantly that you did something right. Right? And furthermore, it's just kind of cool to hear only the tuba by itself with the reverb and stuff, just pristine. But yeah, so I inverted only select parts. I made sure that Nikki pronounced words so that the sound of the letters that you need are maintained. So like thank you, it's Q is the letter, right? So Q U I C K. So she says quick. You. So thank you, a new dress. I can't wait to see how it fits. See, right, like see. So she had to say things in a certain way to make sure that the puzzle worked, basically. So quick is the answer. All right, so this level I'll play for you. This whole phase is based in the spectrogram, by the way.
Master, what do you mean? Why have you brought me here?
This is my amazing voice acting. Don't comment, please. Thank you very much.
The crickets are most excited this night.
Master, I don't understand. Why won't you just tell me?
My boy, you must not listen to me for your answer. You must see it for yourself.
So yeah, the wave is the typical way you've seen the files so far, like this, right? Everyone knows what that looks like. But many people don't realize you can also look at it like this, where there's a spectrogram view. It's basically a graphic representation of frequency content. It's like a topographical map. And right away you can see what pops out is this over here, right? So there you go, effigy. I can zoom in here too. Boom, there it is. So it's just hanging out in the spectrogram, that's it. It's very, very easy. And the whole point is just to teach the player that, hey, this is fair game, right? This is fair game as far as a medium for where the puzzle can reside. So very easy, effigy, good to go. And I also put these letters in slight italics, so it sounded kind of like crickets, like there we go. And all right, and then yeah, and also I used a program called Audio Paint to basically convert bitmap information to sine waves to make like stuff show up in the spectrogram. It's pretty cool. Soroban, this one's pretty crazy. Lots of people got stuck here actually, and this is like the 6th version of this file. So this is pretty crazy. I mean, the thing about the previous level is that once you've figured this out, this whole effigy thing, once you figure that out, then now you have this new weapon in your arsenal, right? You know that you can look at the spectrogram. So you can assume as a designer on a game that the first thing a player is going to do is look at the spectrogram for the next level, right? Because that's like, oh, cool, I can do that. I'm going to look at this some more and see what it looks like. So if you do, you'll see right away that it's got a lot more stuff going on, and it's not just it's not like, hey, here's your answer. It's like, no, this is now part of the puzzle and figure it out kind of thing, right? So I'm not gonna do a tutorial on how this works, but I'm just gonna tell you what to do. This is like this 0 plus this shape is the shape for a notch filter in audio, and this is a Japanese abacus as per the file name Soroban. And this here, your ambitions exist only to deceive you, is like, hey, too bad, man. You think you're good? Check this out. So the fun part, this number here is 8750, and this number is 19500. So if I grab these and I notch them out, as per the notch filter, where the hell am I going here? Notch filter. So I'm going to notch frequency 8750, and that's fine. That's not a big deal. And I'll also notch out the other one. So 19500. So now I have these two stripes that show up, right? Like here. Sorry, I tried to show you, but like this stripe here and this stripe here. And even here, like many people still didn't know how to solve it after they'd done it. But all you do is just read left to right on the letters that overlaps. So like Y, I, E, L, D, yield. That's it. That's the whole thing. This is like, no lie, this is like 6, maybe 8, 9 revisions in this puzzle. I had the idea of how to use the notch filter, but it took a long time just to make it work at all. It was rough. But I'm really happy with where it landed. Next level, Jigsaw.
Attention. Your password is...
All right. So the same thing. I'll be honest and say that the spectrogram quality in Audacity is like pretty terrible. It's not good at all. It's passable for some things, but other things it's not very good, and this is not great to work with. This is kind of a pain in the ass to do. So the thing is, in a program like Isotope RX, I can just cut and paste things in a spectrogram without worrying about it. Like you can cut and paste mix, so I can like paste, I can cut something out and then paste it, either replace, or I can insert it, or I can mix it with where I'm pasting it. So what I'll do here is these bars here, these like beep, that beep is the reference point, right? Because that's how you tell how your pieces are lining up. And if you look at the wave too, it's really easy to see it, like where the beep starts. You can see it. It's really clear to see this, right? It's got this square wave shape to it. It's pretty obvious it starts right there. So you could potentially like go into Pro Tools and grab like this square wave up to the next square wave beep and like cut it down just a layer over and over again. What I'm going to do is something a bit less, I don't know, a bit less precise, perhaps is a way of saying it. So I'm going to go into the spectrogram again. I can edit in the spectrogram, but I can't paste and mix in Audacity. So I'm going to grab it like this and just go up to the next part about there kind of thing. Maybe there kind of thing. Looks pretty good. And these are all equal, equidistant apart, so I don't need to worry too much. I'm going to grab that, cut it, and I'm going to bring this up a bit, make a new track. This will be a bit longer, a bit more cumbersome, just because we're on Audacity and not in any other program. But we can paste it here. I'm going to grab this same section above. I'll zoom in again. Let's do this. I can actually do this. It's nice that I have this part here. This is like a boundary, and at least Audacity lets me just snap to a boundary, so I'll do that. I'll do that, make a new track again, new stereo track, put it here. Same thing here. Snap to that boundary, please, and to this boundary. You can see it's not quite accurate, but it should be good enough to read it, I think. Well, we're gonna find out, I guess. It's not an Audacity aimed puzzle at all. I think it'll be okay though. Okay, we're gonna keep going here. Another track. I think there's 6 total. Okay, thank you. And we'll go over here. Grab this. There's 2 more to go. New track. Paste it there. And then last one is just sitting here. That should be fine. So if I just go Control Shift F, that should be all of them. And I think I can now Control E. There we go. So I think I can just export like Control Shift M or something. Is that what it is? I'm just gonna export it. Export audio. We'll call it Jigsaw Assembled or something. And did that work? Let's find out. Some of this, I'm like, I know how to do it in Audacity, but I've never had to do it before. So we'll see if this worked or not. Stretch downwards, please. Need a little more visibility on this guy. All right, moment of truth. Did it work? Oh my God, it did! Amazing. So it's upside down and backwards, but it says ridge. You see it? And it sounds like this. It's pretty gross. Okay, so ridge. We did it. We did it, guys. All right, next level. Linear matrix E.
Hey, honey, how many burgers do you want?
Hold on.
Hey, honey, how many burgers do you want?
Hear that? Hold on. What's that noise? You hear that? This next level is a linear matrix E, and this is kind of an elaboration on like the phase cancellation and spectrogram stuff. So each of these sections is 4 seconds long.
Hey honey, how many burgers do you want?
Hold on.
Hey honey, how many burgers do you want?
So those first 2 sections of 4 seconds, that first one is by itself, like dude at a barbecue or something, right? Just hanging out with his family. And then what we'll do is I'm going to say length 4 seconds. And now I have an exact cut of where it is. I'm going to make a new track like before. This is not inverted already, so I'll need to invert it. And the goal here, like that Doomcat thing, is to invert it and then reveal the part that's in behind it on the next section of 4 seconds. Does that make sense? So if you think of that first section as like A, the next part is A plus B. So we're going to say negative A and add it together, so we'll have B remaining only, and just isolate that. And we're going to do that sequentially through the whole thing. So I'm going to add a new track, new stereo track, jump it in. I'm going to invert this guy too. Invert. Now I should have this...
Hold up. What's that noise? You hear that?
So no more, what do you call it? No more barbecue. So we're going to grab this whole section here, 4 seconds again, length 4. Great. I'm going to grab that, pull it out, and tracks, add new stereo track. And I'm not going to invert this one because that would make this different, or I can invert both. I could do that. Let's do that instead. So right now I have negative A, and then I have A plus B here, and I have B plus C up here. So I need to end up with like, I need to basically invert every second one. Does that make sense? Because if you invert every one, then you're just going to have a negative version of the whole thing again. That doesn't work. So the, well, how does this relate to the name of the level? Linear matrix E. Yeah, I'll find out. Just hold up. This is over here again. We'll go 4 seconds. I'm not going to invert that second one. I'll invert the third instead. Cut that out. I'll make a new track again. Let's do this too. And this one will invert. Effect, invert. Boom. And now we should hear this by itself. And this last part is the same thing, almost. So same thing, and go 4 seconds. Cut that out. Make a new track. New track. I'm so cumbersome with this Audacity, I swear. New track. That's not yet inverted, so we'll invert this one, not this one. And that should be... Okay. I thought that would work. I'm just gonna export it. Okay, yeah. So this is now pretty good. I'm going to zoom in a bit more. And as you might guess, seeing as this is the spectrogram theme, we'll go to the spectrogram here, and look at that. We have basically a QR code. This is called a data matrix code, actually, so hence linear matrix. So this is the linear view, not a log view. Log is no good. So linear view of the spectrogram, it's a matrix code, and there's actually markers as well that say A plus B, B plus C, C plus D, D plus E, and that's E. So that's the whole point. It's like A and then A plus B. You don't need to see the markers to finish the level, but it definitely helps. And a lot of people got to here and didn't know what it was. So I mean, from here you could like take a screenshot, go on MS Paint, take a picture with your phone, put it onto a QR reader online, like any of these things, and the answer is Xenon. That's it. So I'll go back into the game. So correspondence. Quick, how do you do it? Everyone's like, it's Morse code. Yeah, it's super easy, right? The whole game, the difficulty curve is like on a sawtooth, you know? So 1-1 is super easy, 2-1 is super easy, 3-1 is super easy, whereas like all the -4, the respective -4s are much, much more difficult. So here we go, Morse code. I'm not going to solve it. I mean, like, you just Google it and you're good to go, right? So the answer is vicious.
Correct.
So next one here. So that one is pretty straightforward. Oh, it's fun too. Check this out. So with the Morse code one, you can either, of course, listen to it and figure out that way, or you can literally just, with your newfound spectrogram knowledge, just open up this guy and have a look at like the dots and dashes, and you're good to go. So I'll close this guy down. I'll open up the next file called 16K plus 6 flags, and this is no good at all. It's useless. So what we'll do instead, I'll just go Control-Shift-F, zoom in a bit. We'll go to our spectrogram again. And right away you got something good. So you can see it kind of dimly right there, right here. And hit 16K plus, 16K being like right here, right? So above that position. And then flags. So like a flag-based cipher. That would be a semaphore, of course, like where they hold the flags like different positions and it means different letters. That's the idea. So this is H, O, R, N, E, T. The answer is Hornet. Next one, Fair Play Nova Super. This is a long one. I might not play the whole thing. And in the chat, there we go. That's what they said, just so you know, in terms of the military alphabet. Not very helpful, but if you know it's Fair Play Nova Super. So next bit, you'll like play for a cipher. All it is you just like figure out that. So if you have a given string, like this could be your string, right? Boom, there it is. So in our case, our string is right there. And we look at, right, this is what we want to encode rather, and then you might get this as your final. So to reverse engineer it, you just follow these rules, which I will not go through because it's time consuming and annoying, but that's the idea. Just like follow these rules with what you got, and you're good to go. The deciphered text reads as 3-3 closes with Morning Star. So Morning Star is the answer. And my good friend Christian Lorenz helped me with that one. All right, the next level is pretty hard and super difficult to do. I did some prep work for this one because it's pretty difficult to do on the fly, but you get the idea.
The powers headed labored and wounds a hawk is for good jumping god for use auto kid from someone in apps sales it's in your game overplay better apples and maries are a good option to it things going on in the mother heart of those murder chamber instructor Eugene seats and plelf and Joel Arter all during against and a vasalting and brushing ridging fine summit of hard beams in a little sweet yet these nice and shows a misandle it's just terriers mode in there all core the effect of you put or middle wrist do have the key you wow in the vehicle it'll consequate as it's some is disputed practice shot for it to fail lane and command oneers as the revival working revise feet.
So that's the entire level. It's assumable right away that he's probably saying something somewhere in there, right? You just don't know what it is. The file is called A000045_OBIS. That is the code. That's like the ID tag for a sequence called the Fibonacci sequence. The Fibonacci sequence. So in the file here, you can see that there's chunks that are made up of 0.250, well, durations basically. So it's about, let me change my format here to milliseconds. Here we go. So if I change to 0.250, so that's the first one. It's just made up a bunch of these, right? It's like, so I gotta hold on to some chunks. So I'm gonna open up some prep I did with this file actually. Okay, so this is the file. To make my life easier, I actually made a whole grid. So all down here on the second track, these are all 0.250 seconds each. So it's easier to see, like to count out where they are rather than like counting to the exact time. And I also dropped markers to show where the ones each are, where each important chop is, where it lies. So this is 1, 1. So you like restart the count after each one. It's like 1 and then 1 and then 1, 2 and 1, 2, 3 and then 5, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then same thing for 8 and 13, 21, 34, 55, etc. So if you don't know how the sequence works, basically add the previous number to the current number to the next number. So 1, 1 is 2, 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, 8 plus 5 is 13, etc. So you grab these only. What we're going to do is grab it from the back. So I'm not going to go from the front because it ends up moving where these markers are, which is kind of silly. So I'll just delete this, and I'm going to keep this one. So I'm going to grab here and then push this edge over to the back end of the next one we want to keep, which is going to be way back here. There it is. So kill off this, and then go to this edge. I want to keep that chunk. And I actually don't know if this is correct. I haven't tested this yet, so hopefully it works out. Hopefully it does. And same thing here. We'll go to the front edge of that chunk. We'll come back a bit to our 13th. Come on. All right, there it is. Delete that. And front edge here. Come back some more to number 8. Here it is. And then here, back to number 5. There we go. 5. And this is getting a little easier now. Go here up to number 3. And 2. And 1 finally. And hopefully this is the answer.
The password is oregano.
There you go. That's the answer. So it's oregano. As far as what's in all the chunks you're removing, the source material, I'm glad you asked. The source material was all stuff like, it was actually, this is my brother, by the way, my brother speaking, just speaking like this. And he was reading an article out of some casual games magazine, and this is one of the lines from the read.
If you're going to play Little League Baseball, you have to expect to get hit by an occasional pitch.
Like, it was just completely random stuff, and I went through just grab chunks like really easy. I made a macro that allowed me to grab chunks that are exactly 0.25 seconds long each, and then just put them all over like completely randomly. And then if something sounded too normal, I'd like move things around a bit more and tailored it, polished it past that point. But it was just me just throwing things at the wall and just assembling after that point. Worked pretty well. I think it sounds pretty good. So that's the answer, oregano. Let's get back to the game.